let's talk about hiring directly on your own team, your directs. Do you have a particular process you go through around candidate profiling, attracting that candidate and you reaching out to them either personally or the message that you craft, going through the recruitment and interviewing process, and then closing? Do you have any tactics that you think completely set you apart from maybe what other people do, just based on the results that you've gotten, you know that they work?
No, I don't know if it's differentiated, but I'll tell you how I approach it. I think the first step is you really have to understand the nuances of the role that you're trying to hire for. This is a mistake I see a lot in companies. They say, especially early stage companies, at some point they have like 10 salespeople, they're hitting quota kind of, and they're like, okay, I need it. And then the board's like, you need a VP of sales. And then they go and then they hire Bets or some kind of recruiting firm, and they load them up with like VP sales candidates, and they just hire someone to do VP sales. And there's just that happens every day. And I think there's so many nuances to the role. What kind of sales? How do you want to build it? And what types of talent would you want this person to bring in? And so I am a big believer that you don't know how to hire for that role unless you've done that job yourself. And so for at least a quarter or two, I think as you get better, you use pattern matching and shortcut. But in the beginning, you have to do it yourself. So in the sales world, so you know what types of companies are you really, really going after and such. And so that's my first step. It's like I never take on even though I am desperate for bandwidth and I would just love to hire someone right now to just take the job. If I don't dig in myself, I don't think I'll hire the best person for that job. So that's first. And I think that helps a lot downstream, and I'll come back to it. Second is then I leverage my network. So I leverage my network and I go talk to people. And you and I have talked where I'm like, hey, I'm looking for this kind of person. And now I know what I'm looking for, right? Who's the best two people you know? And I don't need to recruit them, but I want to talk to them.
You do this a lot. You do this a lot to the point where like sometimes I know you're in the market for someone because I'm close with someone that might be one of the best in the market then, and I'm hearing that you've had a conversation because he or she and I will talk and hear that, oh, OJ had a conversation with what? Like you do this all the time. It is perpetual, and it is in your nature perpetual to do this like all the time.
And I think part of it is kind of like, I find it interesting, right? It's like you get to learn. It's like totally free education. Why not? And so I constantly do that. That's true. And then I get referrals and I get known. And so I remember when I moved out to Australia to start Dropbox APAC, and back then LinkedIn, and you were there, LinkedIn was like one of the top SaaS organizations in, like I would say even higher, like smaller than Salesforce, but the talent was super high quality, right? I canvassed the top 3 layers. I talked to every single person across sales, marketing, talent solutions, like everybody. And then I kind of basically profiled and I knew who, and that's how I met, great people like Gareth. Okay, so that's step 2. Step 3 is then obviously, building that list and talking to people. And I think this is one where, I don't know if it's different, but I do it myself. I reach out. I'm looking for a head of BD right now. I'm the one who's like in-mailing people. I don't outsource it to a recruiter. And I think that makes a big difference because if you're top talent, you want to hear from literally what you want your best shot at this person, right? So I do it myself, and I want to get in touch with these people. And I think this is where having done the job yourself for at least a quarter or two really, really makes a difference. Because then now you can talk about the role in a much more sophisticated way. You're not like, I'm just hiring someone to run East Coast. Like, right? You want that person, like someone is interested when you're able to map the distinct qualities needed for someone to be successful in a certain role and why that candidate is a perfect fit.
There's something ultra sexy about that. Yeah, there's something ultra sexy about that from a candidate's perspective.
Because a candidate, like, people have choices. There's so many great companies out there. But what candidates want to know ultimately, no matter where and who, is that they're going to be set up for success. And so I think that comes across when you actually know what you're looking for. And then you can talk about why that person, hey, Brandon, I'm talking to you and you specifically because of XYZ. And that XYZ is exactly what I'm looking for. that makes it really a lot better. And then I also think a lot, again, you got to develop that relationship, especially if you're hiring general managers. Like, you need to, if you treat it as just a process, that's where I've seen these things fail. I mean, I've seen bad hiring practices even at Dropbox where you made a lot of hiring mistakes, was when you make these critical roles that you just kind of rush through a process. I'm going to go find an executive recruiter firm. They're going to bring me, 20, and then I'm going to whittle it down to 3, bring 3 people back on site, pick one. Those almost never work out because you don't have that trust that developed, or you can't close because that trust has not been built up throughout the process.